Good morning everyone. Today I will be discussing the topic combustion and flames, a topic from class 8th science from NCERT. So to begin with, let us talk about the definition of combustion as explained in the book. As we can see, combustion is a chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give off heat. So as we can see in the definition, combustion is defined as a chemical reaction. Basically, when combustion takes place, there is a chemical reaction going on which occurs only in the presence of oxygen, and the product of this reaction is heat. And the substance that undergoes combustion is known as fuel. So now most of us have a misconception regarding the terms combustion and burning. Most of us think that what we call burning in common language is known as combustion in scientific language. But this is not the case. There are certain differences between combustion and burning. So let us consider an example. Let us take the example of burning of candle. How does a candle burn? It burns with flames, right? And we have also seen coal burning. Now how does coal burn? We cannot see any flame when coal burns. We can only see smoke, and we can feel that intense heat produced during burning of coal if we stand near that place where the coal is burning. So the basic difference between combustion and burning is that in combustion more amount of heat energy is produced and light energy is produced in very less amount. So less that we cannot see. And during burning, we can see that it's clearly visible that light energy is produced in more quantity and heat energy is produced in less quantity. As we have seen in the example, burning of candle, when a candle burns, we can sit near the flame. We can sit near the flame and we will not feel that much heat as we feel when we sit near near the place where coal is burning. We can feel heat more intensely where coal is burning rather than the candle. And we can see light more clearly where candle is burning rather than coal. So the basic difference between combustion and burning is this, that in combustion more heat energy is produced, while in burning less heat energy is produced. And combustion, the substances which undergo combustion are usually hydrocarbons. That is, basically they are carbon containing compounds. Coal is also a carbon containing compound. So basically, hydrocarbons are the substances that undergo combustion, and burning, usually solid fuels undergo burning. And there is another difference, that we cannot call combustion as burning. Combustion isn't burning, but burning is a type of combustion. So the basic differences are put down as shown in this table. Now here is a small activity, activity 6.2, as you can see in your book. This activity is performed to show that air is necessary for combustion. So let's have a look what actually is done out here. So they have taken a candle, they have placed it on a table, and they have taken a glass chimney and they have placed over that candle, and they have placed two wooden planks below that chimney, and this arrangement is done in such a way that air can enter the chimney. Air can enter the chimney. So as we can see in figure 6.2a, the two planks are put below the chimney and air is entering continuously. And likewise, what they have done in figure 6.2b, they have removed that those planks so that the flow of air, incessant flow of air, stops into the chimney, stops from entering into the chimney. So it was observed that, as we can see, it was observed that in figure 6.2a, the candle is burning freely when the air is flowing incessantly into the chimney. But as we can see in figure 6.2b, the candle begins to flicker. Now why does this happen? When we remove the planks initially, when we remove those planks, what happens is certain amount of air is trapped inside the chimney, while there is no new flow of air into the chimney. But that certain amount of air, it will be it will start exhausting after a certain point of time. It will be used up for burning. So after being used up, in the process of being used up, when the candle starts to feel that air is not present inside the chimney, it will flicker. And ultimately, when the air is completely exhausted, all the air that was trapped inside the chimney, it has completely exhausted, the flame will go off. So from here they have inferred that air is necessary for combustion. So now we have another topic known as ignition temperature. Now what is ignition temperature? Let's go to the definition first. Ignition temperature is the lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire. So to be more elaborate, let us consider a simple example. Like we are all experienced in burning crackers in Diwali. So we must have observed this, we all must have observed this, that when we put fire on any cracker, like when we put any cracker on fire, so it doesn't directly burst into flames, right? It doesn't directly burst off. It takes certain amount of time. Now what is this time? What is this time lag? Why is it time taking between the, like when we put the matchstick on, when we put on the flame on the cracker and when it burns, between that there is a certain time lag. So this time lag is basically due to the fact that the cracker has to reach its ignition temperature before burning. That is, it will absorb heat from the light source, that is the fire which we have put, and then it will reach a certain temperature at which it will burn. So this temperature which is necessary for burning, that is ignition temperature. This is the lowest temperature at which a substance catches fire. So to be more elaborate, let us consider this activity 6.4 given in the book. So what they have done is, they have taken paper funnels, two paper funnels, and they have placed two paper funnels and they have placed them over that fire. So in one of the funnels they have added water and the other funnel is dry. So what we have observed from this is that the dry paper funnel, it catches fire very soon and it burns off. But the one which contains water, it doesn't burn. Instead, the water inside that paper funnel, it starts boiling. Now why does this happen? So this happens because in the presence of water, the ignition temperature of that paper is not reached. Now what happens here is, the paper cup is absorbing heat from the flame and that heat is getting transferred to water by conduction. So the paper cup will take more time to burn like the other paper which was dry. It will take more time to reach its ignition temperature. So the inference that was drawn from this activity was, in ignition temperature of the paper is not reached easily in presence of water. Likewise, different substances catch fire at different temperatures based on their ignition temperature. We have all seen that as soon as we light a matchstick near a paper, it catches fire. But if we do the same with wood, a dry wood, it won't catch fire that easily. But if that wood is dipped in kerosene, it will catch fire easily. Kerosene helps the wood to reach its ignition temperature fast. So this is all about ignition temperature. Now there is another technical term known as inflammable substances. Now what are inflammable substances? Inflammable substances are substances which have very low ignition temperature and they can catch fire easily. That is, substances which catch fire easily at room temperature are known as inflammable substances. They have very low ignition temperature which is reached very fast and hence they burn easily. An example of inflammable substances, LPG, CNG, etc. And likewise, the substances which do not catch fire easily, that is the substances with high ignition temperature, they are known as non-inflammable substances. So now let us talk about the burning of a matchstick. How does a matchstick burn? So here is a bit of this is a bit historical. Earlier, around 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, what people did was they took pieces of pine wood dipped in sulfur and they used it as matchstick. But this was modified to about 200 years ago. We started using antimony trisulfide, potassium chlorate and white phosphorus. Now this had a drawback. This method had a drawback that white phosphorus, it was very explosive in nature and it used to cause injury to people. It was proved to be dangerous. So what we do these days is basically we take antimony trisulfide, we take potassium chlorate, and we take little bit of red phosphorus, which is less dangerous than white phosphorus. On that tip of that wood, we have all seen a matchstick. The tip of the wood contains some chemical. So that chemical is basically antimony trisulfide, potassium chlorate, and red phosphorus. So what happens is, when we produce heat through that matchstick, that is when we produce friction on the matchbox, that red phosphorus, it gets converted to white phosphorus and reacts with potassium chlorate. And as soon as it reacts with potassium chlorate, the potassium chlorate will break up to give oxygen, and this oxygen will react with sulfur to produce a flame. So this is how a matchstick works. Now let us talk about the types of combustion. So basically there are three types of combustion: rapid combustion, spontaneous combustion, and explosion. So what is rapid combustion? The name itself tells us rapid means very fast. So large amount of heat energy and light energy is produced in this type of combustion, and in this type of combustion we need a source. Like for example, let us consider a gas stove. It burns as soon, like gas stove, LPG, it catches fire as soon as we put on that lighter, right? So this is an example of rapid combustion. Now coming to explosion and rapid combustion are quite similar. Like in rapid combustion, heat energy and light energy is produced in large amount. Likewise, in explosion also, heat energy and light energy is produced in large amounts in addition to sound energy. So basically, example of this explosion we can take as bursting of crackers, and here also a source is required. So rapid combustion and explosion are quite similar regarding the fact that explosion produces sound energy also. And the third type is spontaneous combustion. Now spontaneous, as the name itself suggests, spontaneous means on its own. So sudden ignition on its own, like combustion of a substance on its own without any external source. An example of this is burning of phosphorus. Like phosphorus is very reactive, so when we place it in air, it reacts and it catches fire. So so phosphorus isn't stored in air. It is always stored in water so that it doesn't catch fire. Another example is forest fire and coal mines. Like in coal mines, most of the times we hear that it burned off on its own because of the large amount of heat that was produced. And in spontaneous combustion, no source is required. So this is all for today. So let's sum up. We talked about combustion. Combustion is a chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen, giving off heat energy. We talked about that burning and combustion are different. Like in burning is a type of combustion, but combustion is not burning. And then we talked about the ignition temperature. We talked about inflammable substances, non-inflammable substances. We talked about the types of combustion, and we talked about the working of a matchstick, that how does it burn. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.